guys, it's Vanessa. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very important video that I've been struggling to make. I've tried to film this 3 times now in different days, and I just can't seem to make this video right. However, I think that it's a very important video for me to make, and it's about depression and suicide, because it was something that I struggled with when I had Cushing's disease. And also, I'm not sure if I should, tell this publicly, but then I remembered that in 2014 there was a lady named Samantha Cohen. She was from New York City, and she committed suicide a day after she got diagnosed with Cushing syndrome. And I just think that it's a very unfortunate thing that happened, and if I can share my story, maybe it'll help someone else who's contemplating hurting themselves to not do it, because there's something better after Cushing's. Life gets better, and you can live in your new normal after this, because I'm living life now and I'm a lot better. So let's just get to it. So the backstory with how I'm prone to depression and anxiety is that because I was bullied when I was younger. Back in kindergarten all the way to the 5th grade, I was an overweight kid. I was a little chubby, and I was teased a lot for my looks, for my weight, and for the way I dressed too, because I didn't dress like fashionable. I was very much like a tomboy. So I was bullied as a kid for that. A lot of mean girls in school, they used to call me fat, ugly, I didn't know how to dress. They would tease me about all of that. Also, I do have like a little story that I will always remember, because it happened with my family, and I love my family to death. They're amazing people who supported me through the process. However, it was just a very embarrassing story that I will always keep in my childhood. But basically, when I was around 3 or 4, I was over at my grandma's house, and then I saw some fried bread that was there, right? My uncle fried some bread, and then it looked good to me, so I ate it. I ate all of it. And then I think one of my aunts or somebody saw me eating it, and then they told the whole family. It was a family gathering, and then they told the whole family, oh my god, Yummy, that's my nickname for my family. They're like, Yummy ate all the bread, and it was for the dog or whatever. So everyone was laughing because I ate the dog's food. Okay, but come on, can you blame me? I love bread and I love fried foods. Okay, so I ate it. Yeah, I own up to it. But I was very embarrassed during that time, because everyone was just like, oh, she's so chubby, she's such a little fatty, and that really stuck with me, because that's what made me feel like, yes, I am I am that fat kid, and then going to school and being bullied for that long too, it really messed with my head about what I thought I was and my self-worth. So after the 5th grade, I did lose weight. I went on a diet that summer with my sister, and we ate diet fat-free foods, and then I actually lost a lot of weight. In 3 months or so that summer, 2.5 months, I lost all of the weight, and I got pretty skinny, even though eating fat-free is not healthy, guys. It worked, and I was doing a lot of sit-ups, and I think I was just doing home exercises, and then it worked. So when I came back to school, I lost weight, and I was skinny, and everybody was really nice to me, and no one teased me for my weight anymore, and I started to feel like I actually fit in school. So I really did tie a lot of, and it was the first time I felt pretty ever in my whole life. So I tied a lot of my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my self-worth into my looks, and that's just not healthy, and just a recipe for disaster. It only took me to have Cushing's afterwards to really take a look at myself, my inner self, and figure out what I'm really worth, and who I am as a person, and what I love about myself, and to just really love me. But back to the point. So everything was good for me, you know, like I was coasting through life just thinking, oh, you know, I'm skinny, life is great, I fit in now. And it was okay for me, even though I was kind of not being true to myself, because, you know, all I cared about was the superficial stuff. And so of course when symptoms started getting bad for me during the time that I was 18, and it started getting progressively worse, like I mentioned in my last video, you know, the acne, the body hair, the weight gain, the moon face, just all of that, in conjunction to the depression that I was getting and the anxiety that I couldn't fight off. It was just a recipe for disaster. And so at my peak was when I was 23, 24, and 23 I think. And then that was like the worst year of my life, because the symptoms were so strong and I didn't know what was going on with me. And, you know, I was getting ignored by doctors, but we'll talk about that in another video. I'm always like veering off subject, but so during that time was the worst time of my life, okay? And as I mentioned, I was bullied as a kid, so I have some triggers, okay? I have triggers that really cause me to have like panic attacks. And one of the triggers is being laughed at, being teased for my looks, or like fat shamed, or, you know, whatever. And 3 is probably being lied to, okay? Or like feeling like paranoid about that. So I was paranoid. I had paranoia at the time too, from not sleeping, the lack of insomnia, the lack of sleep, having insomnia, and, you know, having anxiety and depression. So that just really took a toll on me, and I couldn't handle any kind of critique or criticism, okay? I mean, if someone would critique me about something, I would feel really hurt by it. But then the night that I wanted to hurt myself was just like, I'm sorry y'all, okay, that night I went to go see the guy I was dating at the time. His family, went to his family's house, and there was this girl who, I'm not even going to mention any names, but I've seen her for years, and I know she does not like me. I'm pretty sure of it, because she was never nice to me. Very like passive aggressive type of stuff. And then that night, I just came and sat on the couch, and she came up to me and she looked me straight in my face and said, "Wow, you're so fat." And I was just really like shocked, you know, and hurt that she would say something like that, because I've been nothing but nice to her ever since I've met her. And I said, wow, I didn't even know what to say. And then I think a family member was like, "Whoa, that's not nice." And then she's like, "What? I don't care. She is fat now." And she kept laughing in my face. So that really like hurt me, because that triggered me, you know. I was fat shamed. I was being fat shamed and being like laughed at, you know, and that's just something that really hit me. Like my inner fat kid was like really hurt, okay? So I ended up leaving, and I went with my boyfriend at the time, and we went back home, and I just remembered that I went into the restroom and looked at myself in the mirror and just started crying so much. Like, sorry. Maybe she, you know, I was thinking like, maybe she is right. Maybe I am really ugly. I am ugly. Like, I looked at myself and I just felt so ugly. I didn't recognize who I was in the mirror. Like, that much acne going on, you know, the moon face, and then just being like, I just didn't look like myself anymore, and I just felt like nothing. And I broke down and I cried, and it got to the point where I started panicking. So I had a panic attack because I couldn't breathe. So it was like the worst panic attack of my life. And if anybody who's had a panic attack knows, it's just like the worst thing, you know. You feel like you're dying, basically. You can't breathe, and there's like a heavy brick on your chest, and you just have no control over yourself. Once I had the panic attack, I was just like, God, not this shit again. Like, I was having panic attacks like every other day, okay? So having that panic attack, I was just like, you know, I can't do this anymore. So I went to the medicine cabinet. Like, I didn't want to end my life, okay? I just wanted to end the symptoms that I was going through, and like the pain and misery I felt at the time. I went to the medicine cabinet and I took whatever was in there, which was a lot, and I almost jumped out of the window. Like, I was consoled though, and luckily I didn't do anything, because I was on this, a second story building, so I would have just like made things worse for myself by like breaking an arm or something. I wouldn't have like died. And so after an hour or so, I felt a little bit better, and I just went to sleep and I slept it off. The next day, I no longer had the feeling of wanting to hurt myself, but I still felt that feeling of self-hate and worthlessness. And I had enough, and during that time I just decided to actually started to take charge of like really figuring out what the fuck was going on with my health. So, as much as I hate that girl for like being rude to me all these years and finally just like, telling me all that shit to my face, I have to kind of thank her for like causing me to spiral down. Like, that comment either could have killed me or made me figure out what the fuck was wrong with me and recover and become a stronger person. So I did just that. So eventually, in a few months, I got diagnosed, and once I got diagnosed, it was kind of like a hallelujah moment. Like, I was just like, thank you, Jesus. Like, I'm not suffering for no reason. I'm at least, something's wrong with me. Like, something with my health. Something's wrong with my health. It's not me. I'm not crazy. I'm not ugly. I'm not this, and I'm not this disease. And so after that, I let go a little bit, and I just like gave myself more time, and I started to tell myself that it's not your fault, you're sick, things are gonna get better, trust the process. I was just a little bit easier on myself, and I let go of a lot of expectations of what I should be at that point. I let go of that fat girl, that inner fat child that was hurting. So after my surgery, things were pretty bad. Recovery is really bad, and I want to make a video about talking about recovery too, and just another video about getting diagnosed too, because I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know about that. But after that, recovery was pretty bad for me. The depression got worse, but it was a different kind of depression. It wasn't like, I didn't get panic attacks anymore, but the depression was pretty bad, and there were times where I did still feel suicidal. So I decided to go see a psychiatrist, and I was always against seeing psychiatrists and like getting on any kind of like antidepressants, because I don't want people to think that I have no self-control or no control over my thoughts and my behavior. However, when you're sick, there's nothing wrong with that. You sometimes need that help. So I went and did that, and the psychiatrist prescribed me different kinds of antidepressants. I had to try a few, like 2, before I found Celexa, which was the one that I really liked. It worked with me. For me, it might not work for everybody, but it worked for me. And the thing about depression and any other medication is that you kind of have to try it for a while just to see if it'll work for you, and some do and some don't. So Celexa really like changed my moods and helped me to become happier. And I'm not one to take like any kind of like drugs or type of stuff like that. I try to want to be as like healthy as I can. So I just told myself that all of this is just temporary. I'll just take it for now, and eventually I did wean off of it after I recovered from Cushing's fully, which was like a year and a half later. But that really helped me during my recovery. So I guess my whole point is to just offer a little bit of advice. I'm not a medical doctor, but I am somebody who went through this disease, this rare disease. Like, it affects 10 out of a million people. So I can just tell you from experience that there's nothing wrong with getting help from a psychologist, and getting on some antidepressants. In the meantime, it's not you, it's the disease making you feel crazy, okay? And so, also, other advice I could say is, be around supportive people. Keep your circle really small if you have to. Some people, I know you have like a social life, you have work, and you have your career and stuff like that, but try to just stay away from like any like negative people or like emotional vampires that like just suck the life out of you. You know who those people are, so you don't need that in your life. And you don't have to please everybody. Sorry. you don't have to please everybody. You don't have to say yes to everybody. It's okay to say no. And just and you don't have to be okay. If people ask like, are you okay? You don't have to be okay. Okay, during that time, just be there for yourself, support yourself. But like, you don't have to be okay for other people too. You can be like, I feel like fucking shit. Like that's what I felt most days, you know. And it's okay to be on antidepressants. I think I mentioned this already, but yeah. So being around supportive, positive people really did help me. No one will understand what you're going through except for, you know, another cushy. But I was blessed to be around this little lady named Cheyenne Sunshine, and I just want to thank her in this video and tell her that, you know, she really like made me laugh. She's like a funny ass girl, and she just made me laugh during my recovery, and she gave me a reason to like smile again. And I owe like my like life to this girl too. Okay, I owe my life to a lot of people, but one of those people is her. Just remember that you're not alone. People are going through it, and people get better. Like, you can get better. There's always a solution for something you're going through. So if you're feeling like hurting yourself, go call a hotline, go seek some help, go talk to somebody, and I promise you that feeling will pass and you will feel better eventually. Just give yourself some time and patience and really practice loving yourself. I know it's a hard thing to do. Like, that's the struggle that I think a lot of people have, is to not take time to love themselves and figure what their worth is. But boy, oh boy, did things change for me once I figured that out. So that's my video, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you feel like you want to share this video, please do share. And also, you can subscribe to my channel right here. And I really do want to talk more about probably how I got diagnosed and all the other stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.